Okay, so for anybody that isn't aware, this year is the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which is the groundbreaking film that was directed by Steven Spielberg. I mean, everybody knows Jaws. It's literally one of the best horror movies of all time. It is a must watch if you've never watched it. Highly recommend it. It's got to be in my top 5 for horror films, if not top 3. I highly recommend it. So, they've been doing various things in order to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jaws, such as they made a new 3D version of Jaws where you can watch it in like 3D, which actually technically came out a couple of years ago. I actually had a chance to watch it that way. It was really cool. Got to see it in 3D on the big screen. Very awesome stuff. But they basically did that. They have all kinds of stuff regarding, Jaws. Everybody knows Jaws. And of course, for those that aren't aware, they made Jaws video games, including, of course, the NES. Jaws for the NES is a highly contested game on the NES, and it's personally, in my opinion, I like the game. It's not the greatest, but considering it is an LJN game, I think they actually did a decent job with it. But here's what is absolutely psychotic when it comes to Jaws. Limited Run is here, and they really jumped the shark on this one, guys. They are releasing the NES Jaws on the Switch and the PS5. This is not even remotely a joke. It's literally the NES game that they're putting on a PS5 4K Blu-ray disc and a Nintendo Switch cartridge. This is just absolute insanity. Now, when it comes to limited run, they do have some value on the market in terms of being able to preserve games that are digital only so that we can actually have a physical copy of those games so that those games can actually have a lasting legacy sometime in the future when maybe the stores close, the publisher, developer goes out of business, etc. And then that game essentially gets lost into the ether and you would have to more or less resort to piracy to play those games. And Limited Run is a valuable type of company to help preserve these games so that they can have an actual lasting legacy. It's game preservation. But this is just absolutely stunning how dumb this is. I'm just completely blown away at the ridiculousness of this. This is an absolute joke at this point. Limited Run is such a joke. Re-releasing a old NES game that came out, I guess it's been like 35 plus years ago. And they're putting it on these modern platforms and they're charging you $35 for the standard edition, or you can get the bigger boat edition for $100, which includes some kind of garbage that isn't remotely worth any of this money. You have this pixel art lamp, which you could probably get something like this from Temu for a few bucks. It's just all complete garbage. And I know people have called out Limited Run about this kind of stuff in the past. They've had the controversy with Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, where they re-released that for the 3DO, and they burned them on CDRs, and they've done all kinds of other stupid stuff. This literally takes the cake. 2025. Who in the hell is going to buy this? I already know there's going to be a lot of moronic people with a lot more money than sense that will actually buy this. And it will become some highly sought after collector's item. And it's complete garbage. It is complete garbage. And it is so insulting that they're doing this, which I'm going to show you some gameplay, of course, for the NES Jaws. In case you've never played it, this is Nintendo Complete that we've got this here. And it's got the classic Jaws theme and that NES style. I don't know. I dig it. I do dig this game. It's actually kind of fun. But basically, you know, what you do is you got the boat. You go around in the boat. You're supposed to be hunting down Jaws, but you go in these waters and you will attack these different sea creatures and whatnot. You collect the seashells, which is basically the currency for the game. And you will spend those seashells on upgrades for your ship. And then occasionally you'll run into Jaws while you're doing all this. And you'll do your best, of course, to damage them or whatever. But you can't truly damage them until you're upgraded enough. And whenever you do eventually get upgraded enough, you get to the final scene, of course, where you're sort of reenacting the movie where they're trying to harpoon him and shit like that. And that's how you take him down. And that's the base of the game. You can see this Let's Play. It literally took this person 9 minutes and 25 seconds to beat the game. That's how short of a game it is potentially. If you're actually skilled enough at the game, obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to spend a lot more time. You probably have to retry several times and so on. But it is a very short game. And we've already had a physical release back in, what was it, 1988 or something like that? That's LJN put out this game cartridge. And they've sold hundreds of thousands of copies probably because it was a pretty common game on the NES. You know, I used to own it. I've rented it before. I've known a bunch of people that have owned this game. It is not remotely a hard to find game. It's not even an expensive game. I'm going to look it up on eBay right now. Let's see, Jaws NES. Let's just take a look here. If you want a box copy, I guess you can get that for about $40. You know, a loose cartridge is going to run you $10 or less pretty much. Some people are charging a little bit more, and that's honestly a little bit higher than I anticipated. This used to be like a $5 game, essentially. This was a dirt cheap game. Maybe because of the anniversary, maybe there's a little bit of extra demand because it is the 50th anniversary of Jaws, of course. And so maybe there's a little bit of a nostalgia bug that slightly bumped up the price of the game. But even then, this is a dirt cheap game, and you could play it on the original format. Or you could just emulate it. I mean, heck, let me bring up my emulator folder here. I don't know if you guys can see this here, but this is literally 65 kilobytes. That's how big the file size of Jaws, the ROM of it, is. It was 64 kilobytes. Do you have any idea how small 64 kilobytes is? I mean, especially nowadays when I have this installed on an 8 terabyte external hard drive. How many copies of Jaws for the NES I would have to install to this hard drive to fill it up? We're talking like probably billions of copies, essentially, to fill up the hard drive. That's how small of a game is. And they'll be putting this on a PlayStation 5 disc that can hold up to 100 gigabytes? Is this a fucking joke? I mean, they couldn't do something else. Heck, we got Jaws Unleashed. That was a Jaws game that we had on the PlayStation 2. This is full playthroughs. Let's check this out. This would actually be a little more appropriate because we have not had a re-release of this. This is a game that, frankly, you get to play as Jaws, for one, which is a lot cooler than the NES game. And you get to wreak havoc and shit. You know, they were playing the PC version, so it looks a little bit nicer than it on the PS2. But this is so much cooler right here. Like, if they would at least did something where they had some screwy emulation going on there or something. I don't know. But if they would have at least included this game also and remastered it and brought it up to the modern times and whatnot, I could maybe see it then. But I mean, at what point does Limited Run have no shame at all? Like, seriously, this is just, I want to say all kinds of stuff that would probably get me in trouble. So I'm not going to say it. I'm sure you guys are thinking the same thing. But I just can't believe it. How low can they really go with this garbage? This is just blatant consumerism at its absolute worst. And have you guys noticed, like, economy and all this stuff, like all the stuff that's been going on, do you really think this is what people want? Give me a break. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to check the last video that I just posted there. And then the algorithm's probably going to do one over there in the left corner. Definitely check that out. And if you haven't had a chance, please subscribe. I'm trying to mirror it. But that's going to be the last line.